Good evening and welcome to Will's 8th Will Power Party, our first pandemic virtual Will Power Party, and hopefully the last. So we're excited to have everybody join us tonight from Will's international, national, and local headquarters here in Mount Pleasant, Northwest Washington, D.C. Excited that so many longtime friends of Will and new friends of Will are here joining us tonight. And what we're here for is to celebrate Will's 17 years of positively impacting D.C. youth from underserved neighborhoods, and also to honor and celebrate Three Crowns, who's the Will Partner of the Year, for their friendship and support of Will through the years. The primary thing we're going to learn about tonight is Will's impact with the youth. You're going to hear from Will grads and a current Will student about how we were able to support Will youth during the pandemic. You'll hear from a Will parent who had 3 children graduate from the Will program and a Will donor. We're also going to award, as I mentioned before, the Partner of the Year Award to Three Crowns. And so hopefully you'll be here to help us celebrate with them and enjoy the delicious Rockland's food that those of you who chose to have a meal will have, and the Right Proper beer tasting. Very tasty beer. We're going to go through the brewery with Thor at Right Proper, learn how beer is made. So you'll have an opportunity to see how the hops process becomes the actual beer and the difference between styles of beer and the tasting with Thor. Then at the end, we're going to provide an opportunity, so stick around with us, don't leave. We're going to provide something special for you at the end, and you're going to hear from some special folks that you don't know about and that we are excited to have join us as well. So look forward to you being with us. Again, sit back, enjoy, learn a little bit more about Will, and hear from Will youth and the impact Will has in their lives and how they're using and utilizing Will and what they learned in Will in their lives today. Thanks again for being here. Really appreciate you, your friendship and support.
Hi, my name's Brian Pellegrini, and I'm the chair of the board of Will. I was introduced to Will nearly a decade ago and have been involved with the organization ever since. Will really makes a difference in the lives of the kids who participate in the program, teaching them life skills, empowering them, and building awareness of the environment and the world around them. It's been an honor to work with Steve, the board, our volunteers, and all of our sponsors to help make Will a success each and every year I've been involved. Thank you.
Hi there, it's Gloria Rubin. Surprise! So I thought I would do this video and say hello and wish you all the best and big success for the 2021 Will fundraiser. I hope it goes really well. I know that in normal times fundraising can be a challenge, so kudos to all of you for doing a fundraiser in 2021. Again, hope it all goes well. I understand that you are big fans, which is really, I love that. It makes me feel good. So I'm glad that you've enjoyed my work so far, and there's more to come. There's some new things coming up. Can't really tell you about it right now, but just stay tuned. So all good wishes to everyone. Stay well, stay healthy, stay strong. I'm going to get through this pandemic, or, hope is on the horizon. So just have each other's backs and take good care of each other. All right? Okay. Peace out. All the best.
We want to say thank you to this year's virtual Will Power Party sponsors. In particular, our gold sponsors, Aaron Strauss and Lily Strauss Foundation and Three Crowns, and our silver sponsors, Kristen and Steve Best, Chase Builders, Clear Vision Optical, and Exterior Medics. On behalf of Will, thank you for your support and sponsorship of tonight's event.
Good evening. I'm WSA 9 Chief Meteorologist Topper Schutt and fellow Landon Bear with Steve. Did you know because of your donations, Will's graduates, 100% of Will's graduates have either graduated high school or are on track to do so. That's an impact. And here at Channel 9, we have 3 pillars: inform, inspire, impact. So I'm going to ask you tonight for donations so Will can continue to make an impact on DC's underdeserved youth. And not only that, to make an impact and also inspire. So please, donate.
Hi, my name is Thor Cheston. I'm the co-founder of Right Proper Brewing Company. Right Proper is a small, independently owned brewing company located in Washington, D.C. We have a brew pub, which is a brewery and restaurant combined in the Shaw neighborhood of Washington, D.C., right next to the historic Howard Theater. We also have a production brewery, which is where we are today in Northeast DC in the historic neighborhood of Brooklands. So I'd like to welcome you in and I'll show you how we do things here. So there are 4 main ingredients in beer: water, malt, hops, and yeast. And we will address all 4 of those as we go through a quick introduction on how beer is made. By creating alcohol, the primary thing we need to do is isolate sugar and then expose that sugar to little microorganisms called yeast. The yeast eat the sugar, and the byproduct of that yeast metabolism is alcohol and CO2. The source of our sugar is grain. We get the grain in these large 55-pound sacks. The primary grain that's used in almost all breweries is barley. We use malts of all different colors and sugar contents here. Any of our recipes use anywhere from 600 to 1,200 pounds of grain. We will then take that grain, put it into our mill. We will mill it, and the mill pushes the grain up and over into this flexible auger and into our brew house, which is going to be our next step. So this is what's called brewing. The first step is to dump all that grain into the mash tun, which is a specific piece of equipment that has a false bottom, large mechanical rakes that go around. We are going to allow that grain to sit in very, very hot water for about an hour or so. While it's sitting in that hot water, the rakes are moving around. It's turning into this big slurry. All that sugar, all that protein, all that color that's in the malt is being extracted out of the husks, out of the grain. And then we are collecting that in a big pool underneath. After that process where the grain is steeped in hot water, we're going to pull a plug, just like a plug that you would have in your bathtub, and all that hot, sweet, colorful liquid, which is now called wort, is going to drain out from below. That hot, sweet liquid called wort is moved to another piece of brewhouse equipment, which is called the kettle. At this point, we're going to bring that wort up to a boil, and this is when we're going to add hops. And it is those hop cones, there are acids in those cones that are going to contribute bitterness to balance out the sweetness of any beer recipe. After the wort is boiling for about an hour, we're adding hops at all different points during the boil, all depending on what the recipe for the specific beer calls for. After that point, we have to take a liquid that is near 200 degrees Fahrenheit and cool it down to room temperature, or about 70 degrees, as quickly as possible through what is called a heat exchanger. And now the wort is going to be moved into the cellar where our fermentation tanks are, and this is where the beer is actually finished. We have milled our grain, we've extracted all of the sugar from that grain through what is called the brewing process, and now the final step is fermentation. Each one of these tanks is filled with wort, and then we pitch yeast strains into the beer. Depending on the style of beer, the fermentation process can last weeks, or it can last just a couple of days. And so after the initial fermentation, we will move the beer into a bright tank, make it very, very cold, and that cold temperature will promote the attenuation and flocculation of all the dead yeast cells, the hop particulates and proteins and things like that will drop out, and so we have what's called a bright beer. So everything that I've described till now is producing this, finished beer. So the finished beer is either packaged into kegs, into half-barrel kegs, 1/6-barrel kegs, or into cans. Now I think it's a great opportunity for us to go into the tasting room and crack a cold one. All right, we are going to be tasting 4 of my favorite beers today. The very first one is our best-selling beer. It's called Raised by Wolves. This is a dry hopped pale ale. By dry hopping means that we're not just adding hops in the kettle, as we talked about before. We are adding hops in the fermentation tank as well. So this is a very aromatic, hoppy beer in terms of flavor and aroma, rather than overall hop bitterness. We like to think that it drinks like an IPA, but it's low enough in alcohol that you can have a couple and still get up and go to work in the morning. This is our best-selling beer. The next beer that we're going to taste is Low Wit. This is a very different style of beer in that it's a wheat beer. It uses a different yeast strain, and whereas Raised by Wolves, the malt bill is primarily barley, this beer also incorporates some wheat. But it's not just regular wheat like malted, like the malted barley. This wheat is actually unmalted. Whereas when we talked about the malting process, how it created smaller sugar molecules out of larger starch molecules, this actually employs a raw wheat, so there's actually less sugar available for fermentation. What that does is it adds a lot of flavor from the wheat, but not so much sugar and heaviness to the body. As you can see, it's nice and hazy. This is a very old Belgian style of beer. It's one of my absolute favorites as well. The third style of beer is a very old German style of wheat beer called a Berliner Weiss. This is unique flavors in this beer come from by employing lactobacillus in the fermentation process. Lactobacillus is a bacteria strain that instead of creating sugar in its metabolism actually creates lactic acid. That lactic acid will create a sourness in the overall flavor. This is one of my favorite beers as well. It's very refreshing, very low in alcohol, not even 4% alcohol. And the last beer is Senate beer. Senate beer, this is the recipe and the name and the branding of the old Christian Heinrich beer called Senate beer. We were lucky enough to be chosen as the brewery to revive this recipe. Senate beer was the best-selling beer in Washington, D.C. from the 1890s to the 1950s. The Christian Heinrich Brewery was the largest brewery in Washington, D.C. for decades. Where the Kennedy Center is now, the brewery occupied that land. It was absolutely gigantic. This beer is a unfiltered corn lager. This is it's a delicious, very light, very easy drinking beer with a hint of sweetness from the corn. This is by far my favorite beer that we brew these days. These are just 4 of my favorite beers, but over the course of any given year, we make hundreds of different recipes. We would love to see you at either of our locations, either in Shaw or at Brookland. Thank you so much for spending time with us, and we hope to see you again soon. Cheers.
Will is a transformative, holistic, 12-month experiential learning, youth leadership, and life skill development program for DC underserved youth. It's over 335 hours. It's a couple Saturdays a month. We run the program. They go away over spring break. We run the program over the summer, including a week of backpacking on the Appalachian Trail over the summer, which is required.
It's not for the faint of heart. You know, it's a real, they have to show a lot of commitment, and I think courage in signing on for the program. But certainly, in talking with the students who graduate from Will, it's very positive.
I will tell other parents that when your child first starts in Will program, the initial part of it teaches them accountability. It teaches them how to be financially literate. It teaches them how to be acceptance of different cultures. It gives them a great impact on their sense of direction.
I think from Will, I took a lot of skills, like soft and technical skills. One of my skills will be communication skills.
My time in Will was eye-opening because it had a large impact on my growth into becoming a young adult and figuring out who I am.
I have taken away a lot, but I think the biggest one has been that Will had helped me to live in the moment.
I think the very first activity that we do in Will is like this team bonding activity. And I think that teamwork, I use it throughout all my life.
Well, hiking the Appalachian Trail was really hard, but I think it taught me determination.
There's a lot of amazing programs in the world, but there is no program anywhere in the world that provides the breadth of opportunity and experience as we provide in the Will program. It opens doors, and we're there 100% of the time. When we say to Will youth and their families, if you are in the Will program, you and your families matter to Will.
With Will, I see that the results of the product, if you will, match the vision that's espoused by Stephen and is the promise to the students who enroll in Will. And so I think that's very powerful.
my experience in Will really opened my eyes to like what's out there, how many opportunities I not really offered to inner city kids. And I learned so much about myself, like during the Appalachian Trail, about how much like your mental capacity can keep you from doing something.
Will impacted me by giving me a sense of purpose. Naturally, I'm a very quiet person. I'm very like shy and reserved. But through Will, I was able to learn when to know how to step up for myself and when to take the lead, when to talk to people and guide them.
Because of COVID this year, we haven't been really be able to get together as a group. However, we have received a lot of moral support and safe space for us, to share our thoughts. Sometimes we just need someone to listen to us, and Will have provided that. They have also helped us, like financially speaking, and multiple times they have given us like money, to buy food or basic stuff that we need, when COVID hit.
Currently, I'm a sophomore at Georgetown, almost a junior, and it's really hard out there. It's academically challenging, and just the institution being there as a first-generation low-income student, it's just hard. And Steve's always checking up on me and reminding me that I can do this. And I think that's one thing that I took away from Will, just to remind myself that if I'm motivated and I'm determined to finish this, I can do it.
I think the Will program really taught us about respect for ourselves, as a way of like Steve always be proud of who you are, be proud of where you're coming from. As somebody that just moved to America, I barely speak English, so I was kind of shy. I was like, maybe people would be laughing at my accent or how I speak, but Steve always pushed me to be proud of myself and be proud of who you are. I respected myself, so others too can respect me.
For lots of reasons, systemic reasons, familial reasons, there's a lot of push down on certain populations. They have the same greatness, the same skill sets, the same abilities as everybody else in the world. So I want them to come to understand that at the end of Will's 12 months, with the skill sets and the experiences that they've had in the Will program, that if they are willing to go there, they can truly achieve anything.
I think it's important for people to donate so that other DC youth get to experience Will for everything that it has.
The program reaches students from low-income backgrounds who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to do. There's so many great things that the program allows us to do.
Will does everything for the children without asking for financial assistance from their parents. So the donations help relieve some of the financial burden of parents who may not be able to afford to take their child to a one-week camping trip, or who can afford to take their child to hear an international string orchestra.
The ability to get outside of DC, to go to the Chesapeake Bay, to go to the Appalachian Trail, to go down and see how crabs are caught. And just that whole process, I think it's very, I know I talked to a number of Will participants, just never physically had never left the confines of DC. And to think about that is very powerful, that Will enables that experience with them.
Not everyone gets the same chance, especially kids that, like me, that were living in a city. We don't get the same thing that other children from the suburb would get. So kind of this experience that, hey, you might be living in the inner city, you might not get all this, but still there's still opportunity for you. There's still people out there that's still trying to help you and still creating the will and showing us all the ways of living, about nature, about respect, about the environment in general. That's kind of like a way of saying like, hey, you can do it.
Hello, I'm Ward 1 Councilmember Brianne Nadeau. It's such an honor to have Will based right here in Ward 1. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing with our youth in Ward 1 and from across the district. Something I'm really proud of is how our community in Ward 1 helps lift up each other. And Will is such a great example of that. By teaching life and leadership skills, you're helping create a better future for students, their families, and community. As we recover from the pandemic, it's so important that we help young residents process what the world is experiencing and prepare them for a future that might look a little different now. And I know that Will is committed to guiding students through these tough times. I saw a quote from a recent graduate that said, "Through Will, I learned that there is a greatness in me." So thank you to Steve Abraham and the entire Will team for the work you do to empower the next generation of community leaders. To recent graduates and those still engaging with the programs, there is greatness in you. And I can't wait to see the amazing impact that you have here in Ward 1 and across the district. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vicki Wickline. I'm a current board member for Will and a former board chair. I first became involved with Will about 6 years ago as a volunteer. I quickly became attached to the program, specifically because of the outdoor experiences, the critical life skills, and the leadership development that it offers for its youth. This is something that I feel passionately that all youth should have access to, and why I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm so excited to be able to share with you this evening that Will has been selected for the 2021 to 2022 Print Catalog for Philanthropy. This was a very rigorous vetting process, and it really signifies that Will is one of the best nonprofits in the greater Washington, D.C. area. Thank you.
Good evening again. Hope everyone is enjoying and having a fun evening at the 8th Will Power Party and the first virtual Will Power Party. Before we get to the reason that we're here, in addition to celebrating Will's 17 years of positively impacting underserved DC youth and honoring the Will Partner of the Year, 3 Crowns, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank once again some prior Will Partners of the Year without whom we would not be here. Steve and Kristen Best, the George Preston Marshall Foundation, and the Stewart Foundation. 3 Crowns is a preeminent international arbitration firm with offices globally. They were the very first Will Partner of the Year, and they've continued to be at the gold level, and they've continued to be a gold sponsor of the Will Power Party ever since then. Luke Sabota, who's one of the founding members of the firm, is also on the Will board, and the firm took advantage of a team building opportunity we have with the scavenger hunt on the National Mall. I cannot tell you how much it means to me and to the Will youth that have benefited from this generosity, support, and friendship of the firm, and an honor it is for me and a pleasure to present the Will Partner of the Year Award to 3 Crowns.
Thanks very much, Steve. This is just a tremendous honor for 3 Crowns. We're so grateful to have been selected for this, and we value so much our relationship with and support of Will. You just do an extraordinary job. We first heard of Will back in 2014 when 3 Crowns was very young, and at the time we were interested in giving back to the community, and one of the factors that mattered a great deal to us was real tangible good. And in looking over Will, it became quite obvious early on that what you do is real tangible good. One of the stats that stood out to us then and continues to impress us now is that 100% of the graduates from Will's program go on to graduate high school, and that is just absolutely spectacular. In addition, that you have such a high percentage, I think it's approaching 72% of the folks who come into Will ultimately end up graduating from it, which shows that you really do offer something special, that people see it early on and they stick with you throughout and ultimately go on to do great things. And so we're just so excited to be receiving this. We really are honored. And if there's anything more I could add to this, it's only to those of you watching at home to please join us and give to Will. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Hugh. And again, it's a tremendous honor for Will to have the opportunity to give this Will Partner of the Year award to the firm. Super well deserved. Now we're going to hear from some Will youth and to provide an opportunity to you at home to invest in the future of underserved DC youth. Thank you very much. Good evening. I hope everyone's having a fantastic time tonight at the Will Power Party. Earlier this evening, you heard me say we were going to provide something for you, which we're about to do. We're going to provide you an opportunity to invest in the future of DC youth. Our goal for tonight is to raise $45,000. We're already halfway there, so we're going to provide you an opportunity to join the journey. You heard from Will Youth earlier about the impact Will has in their lives. Our goal, we have a strategic plan, is to impact more youth. So please join the journey. Take advantage of the opportunity to invest. We have amazing return on investment ROI. 100% of Will youth that have graduated from Will, have graduated from high school, are on track to graduate. And in a normal youth development program, if you retained 50%, half of the youth that start, that's considered excellent. We have never been below that, and for the last 13 years, we've been between 67 and 72% retention. This program makes a difference. Your dollars make a difference in our ability to continue to impact DC Youth and Will Youth. So please join the journey, take advantage of this opportunity, and now you're going to hear from a few Will Youth and another Will donor about some specific opportunities to which you can give. Thank you very much. Thank you to our generous donors leading up to tonight's Will Power Party. To increase our impact, we raised the goal to $60,000. Your donations will get us there. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for your friendship and support.
It costs $8,000 for youth to participate in Will in a year. I'm asking any one of you or any group to donate that amount of money for someone like me to participate in the future.
One of my favorite experiences in Will was the Appalachian Trail hike. The Appalachian Trail hike costs $1,000 per student, and if someone would please donate, so another kid like me can experience the hike next year, that would be amazing. Thank you.
The canoeing day was one of my favorite trips from Will. The trip cost $750 for the whole group to attend. Can I ask someone to please donate the same amount so that another group can attend next year?
One of my favorite Will experiences was getting to plant native species on the wetlands of Anacostia, and I know that it cost Will $500 in order for me to participate in this. I'm hoping that someone will donate $500 today so that other Will youth can experience this.
Given Will's mission and their success, that it's almost irresponsible to not support it, given the traction that those dollars create. So do it, folks. Go do it. Give some money to Will. You'll feel good about it, and it's a phenomenal cause.
Hey, what's up? Said the Entertainer here. Pulled up on you guys, man. For everybody working hard on the 2021 Will fundraiser, thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing. That's what it's all about. Sacrificing yourself, your days, your time to do the great work that you're putting up and that you're doing out there. That's what it's all about, man. So I had to say, hey, stay encouraged, stay dedicated, stay focused, do what it is that you do to help others. That's what's really important in life. Ain't enough of it. You know what I'm saying? So you guys are real heroes and to be celebrated. And that's why I came on here to salute you, all right? So enjoy, keep up the good work, be dynamic, go forth and do great things. Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Cynthia. I am a Will graduate and alumni. I had done Will program 2 years in a row. My first year, I did not graduate. I realized that I wanted to graduate from this program. I think it takes some students a little while to realize how important and how much of an opportunity this program is to our community, but I think I realized it when I didn't graduate that first time, and I decided to do it again and graduate. It was definitely a life-changing experience. I really encourage you to stick through it, even if you've never done some of the things that you'll be introduced to during the program. I really encourage you to push forward and do it, because you may never get that experience again, and it is something that our community lacks of. So thank you guys. Thank you, Will. I am truly grateful.
You are my world, baby, you can always come this way. I want to take you out, show you what life's about, oh baby, you don't need to stray away. Cause when I'm with you, you make me feel cool, oh baby, please don't ever leave me here. Cause when I'm with you, you make me feel new, oh baby, please always keep me near. Show me love, show me love, so much love. You gotta show me, girl. Show me love, show me love, so much love. You gotta show me, girl. Show me love. Fills me up with doubt, with all those birds that's chirping in your ear. I want to be the one, I want to be the gal, the only bird that's chirping in your ear. Cause when I'm with you, you make me feel cool, oh baby, please don't ever leave me here. Cause when I'm with you, you make me feel new, oh baby, please always keep me near. Show me love, show me love, so much love. You gotta show me, girl. Show me love, show me love, so much love. You gotta show me, girl. Show me love.
I'm On behalf of Will, thank you for participating in this year's virtual power party. Your support means everything to us. Thanks to your kindness and generosity, we've been able to continue providing programs and support to DC's youth throughout the pandemic. Your continued support are what makes it possible for us to do what we do. Steve emphasizes the importance of showing gratitude to the youth who participate in Will. And tonight, my heartfelt thanks to all of you for taking time out of your Saturday night to join us, to learn about Will, and to express your generosity in supporting our programs. Thank you so much. And just as importantly, we're all looking forward to 2022, where we intend to return to an in-person power party. Please save the date for April 23rd, 2022. We can't wait to see you all there. Thank you and have a great night.